stressed at work? Do you need a break? Do you need a vacation? Well, I think you do. But you're probably wondering, what's going to happen when I go away? What's going to happen to that customer who keeps calling me every time? How will she know what's happening? What's going to happen to that meeting we have to schedule for next week? What's going to happen to that client who has promised to visit us the next month? Well, don't worry. I've got some few tips for you that will help you plan your vacation when you're away from work in a very effective way. The first thing you need to remember is proper planning. Yes, in order to have a worry-free vacation, you need to engage in proper planning. You need to plan when your vacation is going to be. How do you do that? Well, if you are taking a vacation, ensure that it does not fall at the time that most employees in your organization also take holidays. So for example, during holidays like Christmas or the New Year, a lot of people apply for leaves and holidays. You don't need to take a holiday at the same time. In order to get your leaves, you can postpone your vacation by a week or maybe 2 weeks. Also, ensure that your vacation period does not fall in between the time when you have a client meeting or client visits or important meetings scheduled for certain customers. Ensure that you have a clutter-free vacation, so ensure and plan well in advance. The second most important thing to note when you are leaving for a vacation is that you must always communicate before you leave. Communication is very important. So before you leave for a vacation, ensure that your co-workers know the status of your projects that you are working on. Let them know of the latest developments up to where you've reached in a particular project. That way, you put them in a position to inform customers or clients about what is expected of you when you get back. All right, so ensure that you communicate properly before you leave. Don't leave anyone in the loop. The third point while planning your vacation is to be very, very specific. A lot of times, your clients and your customers do not know when you're going to come back. They don't know for how long you'll be gone. So before you leave for a vacation, you can set your voicemail as far as your phone messages are concerned, so that whoever contacts you will get a straight message telling you at exactly what time or what date you are going to be available. Even as far as emails are concerned, do you know that you can actually set an out-of-office responder, which means that whoever emails you will get an email straight back telling them that you are not going to be available for a certain time, but you are going to be back at a certain date, and that's when you're going to contact them. So always be specific and don't leave your clients or customers wondering about when to contact you next. The fourth important point is to appoint a coworker. Is there a guy in your department or in your office that you trust completely? Well, if you don't, you must have someone who you trust completely. Because when you're away on a vacation, you can actually appoint this coworker of yours to aid you in any particular project while you're away. Because when you're away, let's face it, your work requires to be done maybe a little bit more than it should. So if you appoint a coworker to do some work for you while you're away, you know you can trust him because he's going to aid you when you're not there. Also, he can answer certain general questions when it comes to customers or clients who need to know about the latest developments in your projects. Before you leave for vacation, it is also important to note that you have to empower your team to act in your absence. When you are not there in your job, does your team feel left out? Do they feel like they don't have the resources to do what they have to do? Well, that's because you're not empowering them. You're not giving them the responsibility. This is your opportunity to delegate responsibility to your team or teammates. In fact, when you're not there in office, they should be in a position to work as well as they do when you are available, which means that they should not have any lack of resources. It could be money, it could be manpower, it could be any other thing. They are supposed to be able to do their work and function very smoothly in every aspect of the work that they are given to do. So always ensure that you empower, give responsibility, allow your people to lead the show when you're not there. The next important point is to check in with your office. Now, this is something that you are going to do while you are already away and on your vacation break. Now, a lot of people, in fact, almost 70% of the people, feel quite stressed out when they're not aware about the latest developments that is going on in their workplace. So these kind of people really itch to make that phone call, to send that quick email, to know what's going on, right? If you're one of those people, don't worry, you are allowed to make that phone call or an email, but don't overdo it because you don't want your vacation to be your workplace. You want to enjoy while you're out taking a break with your friends and family, right? But if you're like me, and if you want to be cut off from everybody, you can also do that. You can ensure that no one contacts you. You don't get emails, you don't get phone calls. Whatever suits you. You need to ensure that you check in with the office if you want to, but if you're someone who would rather stay away from work, you don't have to do that either. Well, what do you do when you're back from a vacation? The important thing to note is that you ease back into your work routine. A lot of people, when they are back from a vacation, they get all crazy. They think that they've got to start work immediately. No, you don't. You've got to be slow. You've got to ease back into your work routine. Don't make the mistake of scheduling like 3 or 4 meetings back to back. You don't need to do that. As soon as you come to work, you can have a feel of the environment, have a feel of what's happened at work, talk to your co-workers, thank them for handling things while you were away. And most of all, just relax because you've come back from a much needed break. So don't worry, ease back into your work routine before going back to the grind. The last point about planning your vacation from work is to be realistic. You've got to be realistic enough to understand that you can't get work done in a day. A lot of people, they get very stressed when they come back from vacation because they have the feeling that a lot of work is pending, a lot of work has piled up. Some of them get irritated. Don't get irritated when you see unfinished work. It is okay to have a little bit of unfinished work because you've already arranged for other people to handle most of the work for you, haven't you? So don't worry, give it some time, relax before you go back to the daily grind, okay? Because you've got to be realistic about the fact that you can't complete everything in one single day, all right? And most of all, you've got to be content with yourself and happy that you've set aside time for your friends and family amidst your busy work schedule. That's it from me on this session of planning your vacation from work. I hope you found it useful, informative, and I hope you can use these tips the next time you take a vacation and to ensure that your vacation is completely stress-free. In order to learn these kind of skills, Do not forget to subscribe to Skillopedia, your place to learn skills for the real world.